Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from this evening. We welcome you in the ring. When you guys are joining us on Twitter, we call that the belly of social media. Whether you guys are joining us on YouTube, we call that the suburbs. And then we got the far set. Y'all know the fast book people, the fast set. We welcome you guys as well. We welcome you, Candy, Naleen, Inderjit. We got Susan McDonald, has been there for a long time, waiting for the program to start. These are the faithful guys. They are always standing by, waiting. Great to see each and every one of you, whether you're joining us on YouTube, you're joining us on Twitter, you're joining us on Facebook. Make sure you're following those pages across Facebook that you're viewing us on. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter as well, and you can retweet. And guys, you know, we hungry, we craving, and we licorice for our likes. Our likes, we want to see those emojis, and we love it when you share the program so that other persons can benefit. Great to see so many of you. Pollyann Schultz. Pollyann, how are you doing? I ain't seeing a little bit, Polly. I hope all is well. I see Horace Thomas is here as well. I see Claire, Alexis Chomley, Richmond is here. All my favorite people are already in the ring, like Shawnette Edwards and Chisong Henry. I see Andrew Cuthbert. All of you beautiful, peace-loving, calm, uncontroversial people. Lovely people. Marvin Major. I see Nadia James is here as well. And Minty Gravesandi. I see Otto Martin. All of the fantastic folks. Gloria Bowery is here as well. Wilton Blue, one of our other favorites. Patricia Kissoon. Folks, all of you guys, we really appreciate all of you guys joining the live stream. And as you know, as you come on, we always advise that you share the live stream. We trust that you guys have had a good day. Wherever you guys are, you had a good day at work, you had a good day at school, some of you are at university, you had a good day at home, if that is what you did today. If you were at work, we hope that you did so with integrity, that so when you collect the pay at the end of the month, guys, that you can do so again with some integrity, knowing that you put in the hard work, and this is the reward for it. We trust that you guys are having a great time wherever you are. Again, thanks for joining us in the ring. Coming up, guess who we got coming up, folks? We got the one and only Sharma Solomon, and we trust that you guys are hearing us out there clearly and nice. We trust that Simone Kennedy hearing us clearly. We trust that Doreen is hearing us clearly, and Jackson Rashad hearing us clearly. Coming up, the man himself, the one and only Sharma Solomon. I've been wanting to talk to Sharma for some time. I like this guy. I like his spirit. I like his fight. Somebody I can identify with, and somebody I actually admire in the political realm. Sharma Solomon, the one and only. He's going to be joining us a little later on in our program. The man himself, guys. So you better share the live stream. You better invite somebody to view in the ring, guys. And you know, we are also available on WhatsApp. If you just share that Facebook, you share that Facebook link to In the Ring on WhatsApp, to someone on WhatsApp, to a WhatsApp group, they can watch us right in the app. They can watch us right there. Even the YouTube link can be shared back to WhatsApp, and the folks can watch us right there in WhatsApp. Guys, we are so honored. We're so honored you stayed with us. You know we're going through some little teething problems as we make the transition to a better quality program, visually, audio as well. And the very content of the program. We thank you guys for being so patient with us. We really appreciate it. And as I said, coming up a little later on in the program, we're going to have the one and only Sharma Solomon. I am excited to get to the fight card. I hope that you guys have shared the live stream and that you guys are ready to go. You got your popcorn and cokes. Folks, there's got a couple things we got to talk about, you know. A lot of people name calling. They got a lot of things we got to talk about. So don't go no place. Tell people don't bother me now. In the Ring is on, and I'm ready to see what has transpired in this country of ours. The oil-producing republic, the cooperative oil-producing republic. During the course of the day, guys, we are so privileged to have all of you. I see one, Stephanie is here. Penelope Hudson is with us. I see Barbara McDonald is here as well, and Erwin Don Cook. A lot of our favorite people. Valmay Wilson a lot of our favorite people. Less than hours again, Alvin Prince, and I see Paulette Hawk Kippins, all the Kippins in the ring. I see Alexis Arthur is with us as well, guys. We are so privileged. We are so privileged to have all of you in the ring. Thanks for being with us throughout the week thus far. Even though we've had some hiccups during our program, it means so much to us having you guys with us. Let's head to that fight card, guys. Morna Monroe, let's head to the fight card. Robin Wright, let's head to the fight card. Sharon Costello Edwards, let's head to the fight card. Onika Light, great to see each and every one of you. Great to see each and every one of you tonight. Folks, I am so happy that all of you guys have decided to join us. Around the world, lots of things are happening, guys. Lots of things are happening around the world. And we want to bring you up to speed with one of them, and that is on the COVID front, this COVID mutation. As a matter of fact, they have discovered a COVID variant in South Africa, and that variant is called B11529. That is the name that the scientists have given to this COVID variant. It is B11 529. And what is interesting about this variant, according to the report, the World Health Organization is monitoring this variant. They've actually called a meeting for tomorrow. So important is this. They deem this variant as being extremely dangerous, and they are saying that they have detected about 30 mutations of this spike protein out of this variant called B1159. They have detected 30 mutations. So it's not a good picture on that front, folks, to say the least. But we are monitoring this meeting that's going to happen tomorrow out of the World Health Organization meeting to discuss this new variant found in South Africa. That being said, folks, signs of the times. Signs of the times. Signs of the times. And one of the issues we pointed out quite recently is the issue of the World Bank official Carlos Felipe Jaramillo. He was indicating to us that over the next few years, more and more economies are going to be spending more and more of their GDP to fight climate change, especially rising sea level, or what they call coastal mitigation. More and more economies around the world are going to be dedicating more and more of their gross domestic product towards combating the effects of climate change. And just today on that front, we saw some numbers locally on what our climate change fight might cost us. Folks, it's a big number. It's a big number. We are seeing here $800 million could be the price tag of Guyana fighting climate change. I know some people would say this country ain't going no place. Give me the money and let them boys let them boys go about the business. Some of the folks might be saying that. 800 million US, you know. This is not Guyana dollars. This is US. That's big money. Big money. So that is the report. And in addition to that, we saw some figures on the folks, the number of people in our country that could be affected. We're seeing a total of about 300,000 citizens in Guyana who can be affected by, again, the ravages of climate change, the impact of climate change over the next few years if we don't take it very, very seriously. Now, since I grew up as a little boy, I hear how we get 750,000, about 400,000+ vote every election. If 300,000 people are going to be impacted by climate change, we in problems. We in problems. And just last night, Amanzo was telling us right in our program here that women are disproportionately affected by climate change. They are affected more by climate change in relation to gender. Women are affected more. So this has a huge impact, not only on our citizenry, but on the women who are the backbone in our society. So one, on this front, is going to cost us $800 million, and two, 300,000 people stand to be impacted by the ravages of climate change. More signs of the times, folks. More locally, signs of the times. Look what's happening with GBTI, the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry. GBTI in Port Kaituma just today said that they're closing that branch. Things tight. Signs of the times. Folks say they went there, they spoke with employees, they spoke with the security at that branch there in Port Kaituma. The only GBTI, or I am being made to understand, is the only bank in Region 1, and being told that that bank is closing its doors. And we saw on the bank's website, their Facebook page, to be specific, them saying, again, confirming that they're closing their Port Kaituma branch until further notice. Now, folks, we got some information at our end, don't tell nobody, that suggests that it is because the government of Guyana, these installed catfish people, have stopped doing business. The gold board in particular have halted doing business with the GBTI. That is one of the reasons, and the major reason why the bank is closing its doors there in Port Kaituma. Signs of the times, folks. Signs of the times. So, our thoughts with those folks who are going to be on the breadline, if that is going to be the case, or maybe they're going to be transferred to some other bank, and the people there who still depend on that bank to put up the little money and so on. But again, GBTI announcing just today that the Port Kaituma branch, they're closing that. They are closing that. Signs of the times. And these guys, Catfish and the crew, they want us to believe everything nice in this country, The economy going nice, they going nice, business booming. So what happening with GBTI there? That could be an indication what's happening in the economy. And that is why we feeling the pinch in our pockets. That could be a good indication. On another front, the unions are protesting this 7% hike in pay because the unions understand things tight. The unions understand fully well that things tight. And you know that. Nobody got to convince you that things tight. When you go in the market, you know things tight. The prices that you're paying, everything gone up according to the government mid-year economic report by 15%, but you and I know it's more than that. You and I know it's more than that. So these two unions, that is in particular the GPSU, the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, the Guyana Public Service Union rather, and also the Guyana Trades Union Congress. They have come out and have written some very strong letters to Catfish saying nothing irregular. Nothing irregular here. Just last year, Pariag, Minister of the Public Service, said that to raise pay, to have a hike in pay, they need to meet with the unions and discuss that. They need to meet with the unions and talk. And 1 year later, they have unilaterally increased pay across the board. If you want to call 7%, which is going to be affected by inflation, which is going to be affected by the rising cost of goods in the marketplace. Right? I've said it here before. We are going to end up owing the government. That is how the 7% is so insignificant, so inadequate and negligible. We are going to end up owing the government money. So again, the unions have written some very strong letters to the administration, to this installed administration about this issue. Now I just said, skip letter, let me protest. Let me go in the streets. Let us go in the streets. You can't play nice with these jagabats, We cannot play nice with them because they're not nice people. We can't play nice with them. So this look like the 4 shots that the unions have fired here. Shots fired. A very, very strong letter saying that they need an urgent meeting and that the government is flouting the labor laws. Well, they're flouting every law. It's not only the labor law. They are flouting every conceivable law. And on this front with this 7%, you all remember they've also said they have put aside $400 million for the nurses. Now we saw this report in Chronicle. We saw this report in Chronicle, which suggests that these nurses are excited about this $400 million that has been set aside. Jacqueline George, that's what they're trying to tell us. Penelope, that's what they're trying to tell us. Michelle McKay, that the nurses are excited. Now, I look at the face of these women. Look at these women's eyes. Let's see if we can bring that up on the whole screen. You know, when you look at these women's eyes, these women look excited. And if these women are excited, it is because they believe that it's 400 million individually, perhaps. But they don't understand that 400 million got to bust up. Folks, y'all better share this live stream, let people see what's happening in this place. And we want to see those emojis as well. You better share this live stream. They're trying to tell us that the nurse is happy. The nurses welcome this 400 million, unless the nurses believe it individually. I can't say when you bust up this money, them nurses being happy. I cannot see that at all. And the other thing too, listen, folks, we beg, but we ain't stupid. We beg, but we ain't stupid. You can imagine the government through Chronicle or DPI or one of them coming up to me as a government employee and sticking a mic in my face and asking me if I like the pay increase. What do you think I can say? What do you think I can say? I hate it. Eh? Knowing how these people vindictive, wicked, stink, and dirty, you think I can say I ain't like the pay increase? Eh? This is about your pocket. People got to eat in this country. So I ain't expect them girls to say nothing else. But when I look at it's purgatory. When I look at the eyes of those nurses, it's purgatory and confusion powder. Folks, share the live stream because folks need to know what is happening in this place we call the Cooperative Oil Producing Republic. They should have been given 8 million, 1.2 billion to the nurses. These guys on the front line, as long as we can remember fighting COVID-19, and these jagabats want to say they're happy. Look at them women eyes. Them women want to say, get. When I look at them women eyes, that is what I see. Get. Purgatory. That's what's happening in this country every goddamn day. Purgatory. Well, the fisher folks are having it. You remember last week we told you all that the fisher folk, the fishermen, the folks in the fishing industry said that this PPP government here, this heavy set, this dark cloud set, bad news PPP, and ExxonMobil chasing where the fish. That's what the fisher folks said. Now the government is finally admitting that the fish catch is declining. The fish catch is declining. Soon they come in, you know. Soon they come in. Granger them went in with the same oil pumping with Exxon. Fishermen they complaining. Soon these crosses come in. The fishermen complaining. And now the government, listen to this, folks, get out your popcorn and your cokes. Listen to what the government say. Listen to what they're telling these fisher folks. They're in full support. Full support, listen to this, according to the report, they're in full support of having the necessary analysis. The necessary analysis done to determine the root cause of the issue. Y'all ever hear stupidness like this? This is like Claudette telling us in that other report from GCOM about they will come up with an integrated list. Nonsense. People want real solutions in this country, and they're fighting it with this government. Now these guys are suffering. The fishermen, of course, if you're catching more fish, unless you can sell the little you're catching at an exorbitant price, your seafood and so forth. If you're not getting a little subsidy from the government or something like that, it's hell you can see, it's blue you can see. And these jaguars, here where they meet these guys to tell them. They published big, they had a big meeting with the fisher folks. But here they tell them, we're in full support of giving you a little money. No. Of them, they aren't sugar workers. They're in full support of having the necessary analysis. The necessary analysis done to determine the root cause of the issue. Yeah? You know, and it has happened. When the sugar workers told them that they because of the flood, the cane weren't given the right yield and all of that, and so their weekly API or WPI, whatever you call it, was reduced. The government jumping quick and give them 200 million. Now here we're telling the fisher folk, here we're telling them they're in full support of, again, doing the analysis to determine the root cause. You could carry it home and eat it. You could carry it home and give your wife and your children. Y'all know what to do at the next election. Y'all know what to do. Now here are them jacobats telling us on the other front. So they have admitted that the fishes don't like them. Right? You know why the fish don't like them? It's the catfish at the top. They have admitted the fish don't like them. The fish fleeing. You need a Jesus to feed with the 5 loaves and the fishes. You need a Jesus. But you won't find them in these jagabats here. Look what they're saying on the other side about food now. They're saying the food sector performing nice. These jagabats got the nerve, they got the temerity, they got the balls to be telling us that the food sector performing nice. They have injected 41 billion into the food sector. How come we feeling it? How come price of vegetables and so on still high in the market? You see, they come. This pack of crosses, these jagabats, these Philistines, these Jebusites, these Hippocytes, they come and tell us everything nice and expect you to say, oh yes, it's true. I ain't really feeling hungry. I ain't really feeling thirsty. But you and I know there is perception, and this is perception they're trying to hit at here. And then there's the reality. When you go in the marketplace, right? When you used to buy 5 pounds of beef on the Granger, you got to buy half now. And you can't even cook it one time. You're just soaking it nice in the pot. You take out, you put in the fridge for tomorrow. I told you last night on this very program, the people say every year on the Granger, you used to be able to buy your Christmas curtains. Every year you bought Christmas curtains. This Christmas on these jagabats, you got to take out one of them curtains that you bought on the Granger and use. It's a dark cloud in this country. You ask people who are visiting this country. Since August 2nd, 2020, it is a dark cloud in this country. You got to pray for these folks. You got to scrub them out with spiritual vim and with a spiritual hard brush. You got to gyrate them. You got to throw holy water upon them. 1 inch outside of that. So much holy water. You got to soak them down in. Something wrong with them. Something wrong with them. So they're trying to convince us that the food sector doing so nice under them. Why the people then in the Rupununi, the Venezuelan migrants starving, you see all the backbone and the cheekbone and the collarbone? If the food sector doing so nice and we got so much, how come we don't have like a food depot where people who aren't doing so well can go and pick up a whole pumpkin, 5 heads of boar and something like that? If we're doing so well, the people say they're doing well, it is performing excellently. They have pumped 41 billion in who pocket? In the people in the top pocket. And perhaps that is why Catfish was begging the big farmers, the big producers, let the little money trickle down. They have abandoned policies. It's now friends and family. So they have to know where is 40 billion gone, because you and me are feeling it. You and I are not feeling it. We ain't feeling it. Big story, folks. At GWI. So if it's not the food sector, if it's not the fisher folks, oh Father, this government corrupt. This government corrupt. This is one you need your popcorn for. This is one you need your popcorn and your cokes for. This government corrupt. Don't let it tell you otherwise. You know they corrupt. Shanna Hazel, they corrupt since 1992 to 2015 and they haven't changed. Sharon Eastman, they corrupt. Volme Wilson is a whole set of corrupt people. Joan Murray, you know I ain't lying, Joan. You know I ain't lying. We got the valid, credible information here. Samantha Jelks, you share the live stream, they corrupt. Flora Jacobs Ward, y'all know. So listen to this story now at GWI. Region 5, you got a senior official at GWI in Region 5 who got a company that he manages giving contracts to that company. Credible sources told us that. Here are the places this man got contracts. I hope you all share the live stream. Let the whole world see how corrupt this installed administration is. And the catfish. Right? And that a big head one. Right? Show how they corrupt. So the man get contract in a number of places. In a number of places across Region 5. Big contracts. The man has gotten. Right? Big contracts. And what is more interesting, that not only does this official at GWI sub-office in Region 5 got contracts with the company, the man signing off on the payment for the company itself. The PPP corrupt. And this is one of the stories that are developing, and we can call names. We are going to call names. Watch us and see. Right? Scores upon scores of contracts. Millions upon millions of taxpayers' dollars. We were told again, as concerning this story, that this individual was asked to resign. That he was asked to resign. That is how they operate under this government, you know. When the sins and the deeds catch up with them, the purgatory catch up with them, they just resign with the millions. Right? But some of them going to go up the court step. Y'all watch and see. So we're tracking this story here of the tens of millions of dollars that this senior functionary at Guyana Water Incorporated, GWI, the Region 5 sub-office, right? These contracts related to conflicts of interest. You can't got a company. You working for GWI and you giving that company contracts. And more than that, you are also approving the payments. You're wicked, stink, and dirty. And you all know that. Ringsiders, you all know them. We're seeing them. We are seeing them every day. It's the same old PPP. They come back. The same old PPP. It's friends and family. Right? It's contracts for them. Contract for the wife, the sweet woman, the children, the children's spouse. Everybody, friends and family. And that is what we're seeing at GWI. This is a story that we're working on. And we can get the files for y'all, folks. We are going to get the files for y'all. We got some other stories that loading too. We have some other stories we are tracking. Jacqueline George that are loading. Lisa Pitt. Things loading. Wendy Andrews. The wicked Angolan. We can't ease up on these guys, you know. Right? It's not slow fire mover, it's fire. It's fire every day. Orlando Grant, Joan Stephanie, I see here, Colin Barnwell, all you fantastic folks. We got some stories loading. We got a few stories loading, folks. And I hope you guys are taking the opportunity to share the live stream. So we got this issue here in Region 5. With this scamp. This official at GWI office in Region 5, who paying himself, right, through a straw company. And we can skin you up. He ain't getting off scotch-free, a resignation, and you gone with millions. No. That didn't happen, so hey. So we got that. Just today, we saw Region 4, the councillors there. These hooligans and thugs that the PPP got, trying to disrupt the meeting under the one and only Chairman Daniel C. Rabin. And that is part of the PPP playbook. Whatever they can control, they broke up. Y'all see what happened with Schumann? Schumann is a case in point. Right? Schumann is a case study. They have gotten all they want out of Schumann. They have gotten all they want out. Use and abuse Schumann. And what has happened to him now? You see how they're cussing you out stinking? Because his term in parliament has come to an end. They don't need his votes anymore. But I hope his colleague who is replacing him, take warning. I hope his colleague, because Schumann came into parliament, first thing he get deputy speaker. Next thing, the throw on on the civil aviation board as an advisor. Big money. And he dump handed them. right? But Schumann is the toad that the scorpion asks to carry across the trench. And the PPP is the scorpion. And Schumann is the toad. Right? It is in their nature. And so they're clapping lashes on Schumann now. Let Schumann be a case study for some of y'all who think these jagabats nice, who think these crosses and hippocytes are nice. Let Schumann be a case study. So again, we're tracking this story out of Region 4 with these other jagabats. Whatever they can't control, they broke up. But we're having it. The PPP councillors at the Region 4 RDC, the Regional Democratic Council there, we're not having that. If y'all win the region, y'all could do as y'all like. But we having it here. That is their playbook. Whatever they cannot control, they want to destroy. And so Schumann is testament to that. They finish use and abuse it, and now they chew you up and spitting you out. The other story we're tracking, stories loading, folks. Roletta Barrow, a young woman, Guyanese, who was studying at the Cave Hill campus, Cave Hill in Barbados. She has just received the 2022 Commonwealth Caribbean Roads Scholarship. Right? The Governor General there, one Dame Sandra Mason, has announced just yesterday, or rather on Tuesday, that this scholarship, now this is a prestigious scholarship, being awarded to a Guyanese, a young, bright Guyanese. Respect and manners to all the Queen's College people. Young, bright Guyanese has been awarded this prestigious scholarship, this 2020 Commonwealth Caribbean Roads Scholarship. And you know, for our young people, the sky's the limit. Don't let this catfish install administration kill your dreams. Things are dark and dismal, but don't let it kill your dreams. Continue to study hard. Continue to study hard. I saw somebody in a comment on this young woman, Roletta Barrow, being awarded scholarship, saying, study and beat out from this country. No, this country belongs to the PPP. This country belongs to the hippocytes and the jagabats. This country here belongs to all of us. Study hard and come back and help us develop this country. This country needs our young people. This country needs youth. It needs energy. And all of us as Guyanese, irrespective of political party, got a role to play right here in developing our country. Don't let nobody run you. We run things, things don't run we. We run things, things don't run us. So we got some stories loading, some stories that are developing. And with that, folks, I want to turn my attention to my guest this evening for the main event. I told you coming up, we have Sharma Solomon, Sharma Rahim Solomon, the one and only, and we're privileged to have him in the ring this evening. And Sharma will be joining us virtually. Do we have him on? Really good to see our friend and our brother out of the mining tongue. Can anything good come from Linden? Yes. Look, a son from Linden here. Here, so. Guys, share the live stream. Sharma, very good evening, my brother.
Hi, good evening, Sherrod. Good evening. I am in the ring. I have always been excited about this program. So
fantastic. Fantastic, Sharma. Great to have you. We're going to ask our operators to just kill our second screen so that we don't get any feedback from the second screen to disconnect. We don't want any trouble this evening that we have Sharma in the ring. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir.
Good to be in the ring, Sherrod.
Fantastic. Yeah. Folks, as Sharma comes on, we encourage you guys to share the live stream. We want to see those emojis. We want to see those shares. We want the whole world to hear what Sharma has to say this evening. Sharma Rahim Solomon. Sharma, we've missed you for a little bit out of the public domain. And I don't think I've ever had a chance to tell you this, but during that whole 2012, 2010 coming on up, era there, and all that you had, the mischief and the wickedness of the PPP in Linden, I came to really admire you. And I think some of my own activism, if you want to call it that, has a little Sharma-esque-ness to it. So how have you been keeping, Sharma? What have you been up to since that time? We've missed you for a little bit on the national stage. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been up to self-development. Before we even get further than that, only a few weeks ago, my wife and I celebrated the birth of our second daughter. So
congratulations.
Thank you very much, Amelia Joy Solomon. So I've been taking the opportunity also, besides family and personal development, it was also an experience to enhance the craft of politics. So I got my degree in international relations, and I always say to people, international relations in itself masquerades as political science. So I encourage young people, if you're into this politics and you know the practical side of things, it is always important to get a theoretical understanding of how do you build yourself and build that craft of state development. So I've been doing that, and I know that it would have encouraged and enhance my ability to even do more in the political arena. But more than the political arena, it would have also allowed me to be able to better represent the people of Guyana. So you can say people have missed me from active politics, but I started out as a social activist. So the activism never left. Maybe the political activism, but the social activism never left. I was always there, Sharon, working in the community.
Yeah, because I've been keeping track, and I've seen lots of photographs and video with you in the communities, not only in Linden but around the country, doing lots and lots of work on the ground.
Yeah, certainly. We've been doing a lot of work. We've been working to ensure that communities have the presence of not only activists, but I've always said to people, you don't have to wait for a position to defend, represent, and advance the cause of the people that are so in need. And we see what's happening in Guyana at the moment. So again, in taking the opportunity to learn statecraft and to learn to enhance my ability to get more done, we've established a consultancy group. It's called Market Square Inc., which promotes community grassroots grounding on how we bring the sort of awareness, how we bring the resources that most of the communities on the ground, what they need. So we started a very long campaign early in the year to get people energized, to get them to understand how do they look at information, how do they look at the economics of their community. And also we've managed to work closely with regional and community officials to bring this sort of awareness to them. So again, we have never left the community. We continue to work, we continue to support, and that is why you would have seen us so visible and so prominent across communities, not only in Region 10, but right across Guyana. We work from as far as Belgium, Plaisance, East Bank, East Coast, Region 3. So yes, Sherrod, with or without position, we are there to represent and defend the ordinary man.
And Sharma, I think that's a powerful statement there, that you don't always have to be appointed to be able to affect change on the ground. If you see something that needs fixing, why don't that change start with you? And so I think there is where you have demonstrated really and truly that you are a leader, because lots of folks still waiting for somebody to pick them out of a crowd and say, hey, you go and do this. And this is what you are doing it for. But to have that proactiveness, you don't often find that. So again, kudos to you. We have served 5 years as an administration. We're now in opposition, cheated but not defeated. That is what we always say. You have this 21st biannual Congress now happening with the PNCR, a very, very important process, not only for that party, a monolithic party, but also in our nation. I think that's why it has taken on such a national importance. We have seen that you have been nominated in several areas. First and foremost, Sharma, are you willing to serve? We ain't talking about posts. Are you willing to serve here at the party level?
That is really undeniable. Our ability to give back for reasons that persons may have to justify or explain themselves as to why we were not prominent, or people expected our prominence to be a little more visible in the party and in the election and in the election cycle. But it was one phone call. We were given the opportunity to serve last year in 2020 for the elections, February, one phone call. We weren't on the list, we weren't given position, and we went out and we designed 3 projects for Region 10 to get young people energized, to get them engaged, to get them organized and mobilized, to appreciate the importance of what the 2020 election meant. So we have never taken anything against us personal, because the cause and the objective is always bigger than what we see and what we recognize is important to the wider society. So one phone call, Sherrod, and we were back into the trenches, back defending the rights of poor people, back ensuring Guyanese get that good life that we promised them. And unfortunately, as you said, whether cheated, defeated, we are here where we are. But nevertheless, that was the point we were making to Guyanese, that we were given an opportunity to keep the PPP in check. And now we see just how in 1 year our society have been ravaged by the PPP. Cost of living, corruption. You look around, the PPP is literally putting themselves in a corner. Even those defenders of democracy, even those who were there on the side of the PPP, whether you name Article 13 group, everyone is coming out, because this is why we took that one phone call in 2020 and recognized the cause is bigger than us. And we had to get the young people, more so Guyanese in general, to appreciate the danger of having a return of the PPP. And in 1 year, whether it's public servants, whether we see people complaining with the handling of the COVID crisis, this is the state of Guyana at the moment. And this is what we were saying to people. So we needed not positions for that, because anyone could have articulated the issues that were going to affect people, because we know the track record of the PPP. We worked in Region 10. We worked in Region 10. They murdered their citizens. They marginalized communities. They took advantage of people. And this is what we were saying to people in 2020 when we got back into the elections, that do not make that mistake. Ensure that you cast your votes and ensure that the PPP does not return. So you ask about the Congress, you ask about what is happening. Imagine, here is a PPP party literally hanging itself. All the friends, all the people who would have voted for them, fishing folks, sugar workers, miners, are complaining. The ordinary householders are complaining about cost of living. And we said that to them. But here it is, the entire world, more so Guyana and Guyanese, are paying attention to the 21st Biannual Congress of the People's National Congress. So that, I think, remains in focus of just how important the People's National Congress, its ability to work to build an alliance and a coalition, still remains vital to the interests of Guyanese.
Fantastic. So, Sharma, you have now burst back on the national stage. As we discussed, people have missed you for a little while. For those folks who are new to Sharma Solomon, the newbies, who do you say Sharma Solomon is?
Like I said earlier, Sherrod, we started out, you have your roots in Linden. I know proudly you speak about your relations to Linden and just
Born there, my brother. Mackenzie Hospital, born.
So understand the sort of activism Linden brings to the national stage. And just yourself as an example, I saw my sister Manzo Walton on yesterday. I'm another proud Lindener. So Linden in itself, this is the origin that Linden produced. Linden would have given Guyana the sort of representation. And I always refer to people, there is a good brother in Silvertongue who said Linden is not a place, Linden is a person. And indeed, we were named after our founder leader for the People's National Congress, Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. It is in that sort of ideal, in that sort of value. It was the sort of rebellion that we saw coming from those who migrated from the East Coast and villages along the coasts, whether it was Westdam, Essequibo Coast, to come to Linden to look for a better life. My parents are from that heritage. We have roots in the Golden Grove, Nabakalis, Victoria area. But they brought that spirit of enterprising, that spirit of entrepreneurs that recognized they wanted a better life. And in that, they went to a community that provided for them the opportunity, but never leaving behind that resistance spirit. So what did we realize? In a community where you had a bauxite company built on the backs of the colonial era and people were marginalized, many times what you found in Linden and what you found Lindeners enduring is a spirit that says we will not be taken advantage of. And many times
Very
in
well.
the era of the 70s, coming up as a 70s, 80s baby, we were very privileged to see many of those wildcat strikes, many of the resistance even to the founder leader. Linden have even challenged Forbes Burnham when we found that the things weren't happening in our favor. We came through that era as young people. So that is the sort of molding that went into young people like myself, and I'm certain people like yourself and Amanza, and so many other Lindeners. But what did we inherit? We inherited also a sort of spirit that says we have to look for self-determination. We have to look to ensure that we have a community that works for us. And in that spirit, it built the sort of activism, whether people were into social activism or political activism, to see a better and beautiful and prosperous Linden. So that is the sort of molding and shaping. That is the sort of inheritance individuals like myself would have gotten from Linden. And I can say proudly, I'm a proud Lindener with that sort of mixture that gives the sort of impression on Guyana of what Guyanese in general have always longed for, building from our days of whether it's the 1763, whether it's our village movement, whether it's our independence or republic struggles, that sort of self-determination to ensure, as we see, Article 13 and those within the Constitution work for us, that people must be involved in the decision-making process. As long as it's going to affect me and affect you, I have to be a part of that. It is the right of every citizen. So those sort of environment produce individuals that always went out to represent and ensure that they're represented well. So that is the sort of building that went into a Sharma Solomon Sherrod.
Great, fantastic. So Sharma, you have now been in this process to rather the process, the 21st biannual delegates Congress is coming up on the 11th of December. Been in that process, and we saw very early you came out rather. I almost said coming out, and you threw your support behind Dr. Richard Van West Charles. That was a little surprising to some folks. But tell us a little bit about that, about that, and then I want to come to the fact that you've received some nominations since then. I want to know how you're thinking about that. But first, tell us a bit about this support for Dr. Van West Charles.
Sherrod, our presence in the People's National Congress stem back for almost 2 decades. We had the opportunity, I always say to people, that a lot of Lindeners who saw the sort of political movement in Linden, especially youngsters like myself in the 80s, we were birthed by a party, but not necessarily raised by its institutions, because those institutions that represented the ideological fashioning of young people were not very prominent or evident. So our presence in the PNC represents now an opportunity for those young people who have not inherited, but with every intention realize that they have to give a certain outlook for young people who want to get into politics, more so party politics. So when we got back into politics around 2011, at the 2011 elections, that really moved Linden in a direction. 2006, we had lost for the very first time one seat to the PPP. In fact, the PPP stole that seat from the AFC.
Yeah. Pocket thieves.
Well, certainly.
We still feel that.
Well, the court vindicated and demonstrated that indeed that the PPP were squatting in that seat. But what we got in 2011 was a new movement, was a rebirth of what the PNC represents and what Linden embraced in the days of the 80s, a strong, revitalized PNC. And our activism demonstrated how we can build this party, how we managed to move the groups from the membership, in fact, from 200 to over 1,500, how we managed to get the groups very, very reactivated, moving from 4 to 15 to 16 groups across the region. I think
Fantastic.
that in itself, Sherrod, not only moved the spirit of people to support the party, but our work in the region was complemented by that. So when we had the PPP bringing about, after they had the one seat minority, the minority government of Dana Ramatar, a sort of vindictive and spiteful behavior became of the PPP, where they placed an unconscionable burden of an increase of over 1,500% in electricity rates. That sort of activism and movement of groups and individuals to come back to the PNC worked its way into ensuring we had this sort of mobilization machinery and organization understanding of building people's mental state to resist. And people were prepared for that. But I think, Sherrod, after we moved from 2011, that sort of momentum went straight into 2015. And people can credit Linden and Region 10 for giving the government a one-seat majority. And I think many people, because of our ability to do that and our resistance to ensure that our people, their interests were looked after and their rights were advanced, people saw us as disaffected malcontents, as though we are there to challenge leadership, as though we're there to question leadership. And after 2015, people thought that we were not relevant for the party anymore. And whether it was Ms. Kisoon being suspended, my membership not being renewed, and the people in essence ostracized us from the party, that for me demonstrated that people's desire were still beyond what those in leadership did not recognize, which was they still felt close to those who led them in that struggle and wanted to see more. But like I said, we are where we are at the moment. So I can deeply appreciate when people say that they want a leader, they want a Sharma Solomon. But I can say right now, as I mentioned earlier, what the PPP has made Guyana to become in terms of a state back to the place of corruption, back to the place of hard life and struggles for the ordinary Guyanese. And because of that understanding, Sherrod, it wasn't with any hesitation that in looking at someone like Dr. Richard Van West Charles, and I think many people overlook that we are aligning ourselves to one of the most brilliant politicians of our time in Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. And we're overlooking that in the public sector, health becomes the priority in terms of budgeting. And this was a sector given to Dr. Richard Van West Charles. as the health minister, as the environmental minister. And today, we can stand on the policies and infrastructure, a tangible of what the health sector is in terms of free health care. Those policies still exist. The sort of training institutions of medical doctors and nurses still exist.
Correct.
Those are tangibles in terms of building. When you look at the sort of institutions that Dr. Charles worked in internationally, in terms of PAHO, and working with different countries and agencies of bringing people together, despite differences, despite different cultures. I think at this moment, and also even his recent sojourn at the Gaiwa, and I saw you put up Gaiwa just now, to what it has returned to.
Pure corruption.
Terrible state.
Pure corruption.
We could have recognized Van West Charles' contribution to Gaiwa in terms of ensuring almost 200,000 people as far as Kamako, Ratsville, Andyville, those new communities that were seen on the fringes of our society were given the opportunity to get one of the most basic and fundamental needs, which is water. So when you look at that sort of management, that sort of organizational development, the PNC at the moment is an organization that needs the sort of manager and development individual that could bring structural policies that reflect of what the inheritance of the PNC stands for. A very organized, structured party. But more than that, critical to what the PNC is. And I talked about the PPP earlier. The PPP is literally hanging themselves in terms of their policy and management. But what is the most biggest fundamental issue in the room is not the PPP. It is a disunited PNC, more so a disunited coalition. And at the moment, that is the sort of manager, that is the sort of person that we need to build back an organization and institution that requires the sort of management and bringing people together. And right now, the only individual that have demonstrated those intangibles in terms of work that we can see and point to is Dr. Richard Van West Charles.
That sounds good, Sharma. That sounds good. But how are you reconciling that now with the fact that you yourself have been nominated as leader for the party?
Sherrod, this is not our first involvement in the leadership of the People's National Congress. Like I said, in 2014, I contested for leader of the party at the request and with the understanding of the groups. I had 14 groups that nominated me, just out of Region 10, and across Guyana, more groups that had nominated me. Like I said, we had built back the sort of infrastructure of the party organization in the region that I could credit Comrade Oscar Clark, then General Secretary, for ensuring that we had to do it right. We had to ensure that our groups had the sort of structure that they had to demonstrate by minutes, how they arrived at candidates, how they arrived at delegates, that they were situated along boundary lines. So that sort of ensuring that we get it right, management, was enough for people to place their confidence in us, that we can build organizations. We have worked to ensure during the negotiations of 2012, we worked across the aisles. We brought in people from the AFC and Nigel Hughes. We brought in Rupert Rupnarain. We brought in Ms. Vanessa Kisoon from the APNU, even Aubrey Norton from the PNC. And that was a team, even trade unionists in Leslie Gonzalez, then president of the TUC. That is the sort of building capacity we demonstrated. When we were brought the issue of human rights violation, not only in Linden, but across Guyana, we worked with a team, people in the religious community. Again, we took people from the AFC, PNC, APNU, And we went to Congress people, senators, Yvette Clarke, Hakeem Jeffries. We worked with social activists such as Mark Benchcop, Rickford Burke, Eddie Martins. So people recognize in us, Sherrod, someone and people they can work with to build, to negotiate, to build, to advance, and to also build in terms of structure of the party
Yeah.
itself over the period that we were there. So that confidence in 2014 was not coincidental. It was because people know what we can do. And that confidence is not coincidental now because people know we have a track record in doing what the party needs to get done now. But as I said earlier, Shara, this is not time for games and fun. We don't. We're at one of the most pivotal Congress that the party would have ever seen in its entire existence. We have an oil economy. We have the sort of resources that are being squandered by the PPP. But like I said, the PPP is doing enough damage to itself. What is the biggest obstacle in the way is a disunited PNC. And at this moment, even though I bring so much to the table, at this moment, the tangibles of Dr. Van West Charles stand above those of what I bring to the table. And I see myself complementing what Van West Charles is already bringing. And this is demonstrated a few days ago. We made a presentation to the North American community. And that presentation entailed a SWOT analysis in terms of looking at the strengths, weaknesses, internal threats and external threats. And how do we, in the first 6 months, move the party to the state of readiness that it can challenge not only the PPP, but move to a point of winning the next elections. And I think that is very critical of what you see in a sort of manager that the party needs at the moment. So it wasn't a premature decision to support Van West Charles. It wasn't an understanding that I am incapable. It is an understanding that what the party needs right now is bigger than what we can give and needs to be complemented by things that we can also offer. So that is why we're working as a team. Many of our suggestions and ideas, I'll give you one. People might say, but Van West doesn't have a list or a slate. Yes, because the input from people like myself and Ms. Kisoon and others said that it would not be wise for us to go with a slate. Van West had that sort of understanding, and it is that convergence of ideas that brought us to a conclusion that a slate would not be helpful, as it would further divide and disunite how we look at comrades, because people will feel they have to be in a certain camp and in a certain area, and you feel that you can only align with certain people. But the sort of manager that the party needs right now will say that we trust the membership. And if the membership gives us 15 central executive members that they are confident in, and 2 vice chairmen and a chairman and a treasurer, we are prepared to work as a collective, respecting the membership.
That answers my other question.
Sort of understanding. And I think that sort of management supersedes anyone in the race, including myself.
Great, because my other question would have been whether Mr. Van der Charles, Dr. Van der Charles isn't successful, whether the other members of the team were willing to work with other parties, with other persons in this process, and you've answered that, I think, in a very magnanimous way. Firstly, by saying that you yourself are willing to decrease, as we say in other places, so that this vision that Dr. Richard Van West Charles has for the party comes to fruition, and that you believe very strongly that he is the person for this time. Sharma, you have a lot of people still on the fence. You've got a couple of days out before December 11th. What are your own thoughts to them, as you rightfully said, this critical juncture in the party's history?
Well, Sherrod, social media is a very helpful thing. And at times it could be a very misleading space to operate in. And we've seen people who got many likes, many comments, set the narrative on social media, but we also know that social media could be a very unscientific area to work in. Myself, who I'm involved in many research development projects, I'm involved in many data gathering initiatives. In fact, that is what we do now. That is not a way we draw from in terms of setting the sort of policies that we want, or only area we should draw from. The members and the delegates of the Congress are the ones to be respected. They are the ones who built this party. It is there that we have to go to and convince. And you rightly said, some people are on the fence. Some people have their preferred candidates in the race. Some people still prefer to support a Sharma Solomon. Some people still prefer to support the other candidates that we see. And one of the things people can attest to, I've always said to delegates, even candidates, that we must allow everyone an opportunity to be heard and to be listened to. So that even if somebody is not good for the position of leader, chairman, vice chair, you can see the value and worth of them because you had a chance to listen to them, to come and arrive at an informed conclusion that this person is still worthy to serve, even if in a position of CEC member. So we never lose or lost that opportunity, Sherrod. Like I said, with or without position, with or without being on a list in 2020, in 2015, we were there working and serving our party. We were there giving the sort of service that the party needed in 2015 and even what it needed in 2020. So for the undecided, we have said to them, give yourself an opportunity to hear the candidates, not denies, listen to the reasoning, see past all of the excitement that distracts, see past the issues that are not relevant to ensuring we have a very strong PNCR, but to see the reasoning of where every candidate, every individual that is vying for the positions that they've been nominated for brings to you, so that you can evaluate for yourself who got the tangibles and who got the vision to move the party forward.
Who has the goods?
Yeah, well, I have faith and confidence in the grassroots, because that is where we originated from. So in having that sort of confidence, I am certain even for those who have decided and even those who are undecided will ensure the process. Let me give you one, Sharon. It is the members of the People's National Congress that have gotten us to this point so far. Because when we had a party that people felt is not moving and advancing, the CEC came to the membership and asked them to get involved. And their involvement said that before the year is out, we want a Congress. I was at one such meeting in Linden where we had many members who made that decision. So my point is, we are very wise, we have smart people in our party. This is not a no-come party. This is an institution that exists for over 64 years. This is an institution that have given Guyana the sort of recognition that led Guyana to the point of independence. This is an institution that brought Guyana to a point of world-renowned recognition. And it could have only done so because of its membership. And I'm certain today, as we go back to those members who have gotten us to this point, we will find the sort of reasoning individuals that we can make our case to. Not just Sharma, not just Van West Charles, but all the candidates. And this is what we encourage members to do, to pay attention, to listen, to give yourself an opportunity to evaluate for yourselves and come to a very informed conclusion.
And that is what we ask our viewers to, with the information that we give on a daily basis. But Sharma, in talking about the list of things that the party has offered this country, I think one of the things we miss is national pride. National pride.
But national and international. But you start from the foundation. National pride. National pride are ideals that build value that gives people a reason to want to fight, to struggle, to hold on to our dear land of Guyana. And today you see, I heard you early on the show, a young lady says she want to get your papers and beat out.
Yeah.
That is the sort of feeling of hopelessness
that
the PPP
and despair and desolation.
And I know that our party that worked to build coalition politics, I myself have demonstrated that, whether we went into the negotiations with the government, the PPP government in 2012, or even as we took our case internationally to demonstrate human rights issue. It is inherent in every member of the party to appreciate that you have to work to build Guyana with all those who are willing to work to build Guyana. So you're right, the level of hopelessness is in our society. But I assure you this, Sharon, I assure you, because of our members, because of those in the grassroots, because of those at every strata of our society, we will return hope to our country. We will return hope to our people, and we will give them the values on which they can stand proudly on, because we did this before. We can do it again, Sharon.
And I believe that with all my heart. And Sharma, I have to have you back on this program another night, because you know, I want to chronicle for the Guyanese people, and especially our young people, some of the stuff that went on in region 10, 2011, 2010, 2010, 2011, 2012, and that period, with some of the lies, you know, and the false promises that the PPP made the people of Linden, and now these chagabats and crosses come back. You understand me?
Sharad, I'd like to come back. Not only for that. You see, what people sometimes understand well would be experience. And as I said before, we are not here to trump our experience, but we had the experience of dealing with the devil. We had the experience of dealing with the beast.
Yes, these demons.
We stood our grounds. We stood on all the righteous cause, which were fundamentally rooted in our constitution.
Yep.
Whether it was denial of access to information with a one TV station policy, whether it was denial of people's right to be involved in the decision-making process, whether it was the denial of the region's involvement in the economic development of the region, all those things that I talked about, but about denial, those are fundamental constitutional rights that every single Guyanese would be entitled to. So it is not just about 2012. It is about what we endured and the arrogance of a PPP party that even in a minority state, and like today we see the PPP, though they're installed, and this is not Sharma Solomon saying install, the US State Department, and as somebody in the international affairs arena, every word in IR matters. It is not by accident the word install got into a document. We must understand that. So we face that sort of environment of a PPP in arrogance, not recognizing, even though they were at the state of a minority government, still perpetuated the sort of arrogant behavior in their policies and treatment of marginalization to a community.
And they didn't change.
Our experience of dealing with that sort of monster, Sherrod, is one that we can chronicle well, but we can demonstrate how, as a collective, or as a people, we can stand resolute and fight against that and overcome.
I love that word fight, Sharma. I love that word fight.
In the ring, Sherrod.
I love that word fight. Sharma, I want to thank you for spending this time with us this evening. I'm going to have you back definitely and pick your brains on some other issues. But thank you so much, and I wish you good success in your personal life as well as the political sphere and professional life, sir.
Thank you very much, Sherrod. Good to be in the ring. I'd like to be back sometime soon. Stay blessed.
I think we have made up for all of the false starts we've had in the recent past.
Well, Sherrod, let me congratulate you on your year in existence. You've brought to the people of Guyana an opportunity where they can sit in their homes, they can sit in any part of the world, and to be given information that brings them up to date on the struggles and issues affecting Guyanese every single day. So thank you for having this program, and I'm certain many Guyanese can appreciate your ability to ensure that they are updated on what is happening in Guyana.
Thanks for coming by, sir. Thanks for coming into the ring. Thank you.
Sir.
Folks, That's the one and only Sharma Solomon. And we're so privileged that we had him as a team member of the Van Charles team. And I'm very, very heartened by his magnanimity in saying that this is, in his words, Van West's time. He believes that Van West has the acumen, the managerial skill to take the party forward. I'm really heartened by that. And that shows humility and leadership in and of itself. And I want to thank you guys for staying with us a little bit in the overtime here. Diane Graves-Zandy, big thank you to Sharma Solomon and the Van Charles team for availing him to come on this evening. Manners and respect, as we say in this country. Manners and respect. Anne-Marie Selby, good to see you. Roxanne, Aaron, all you fantastic folks still with us. Going to give some of you a shout out. Ovita, Simona Williams, good to see you. Roxanne, Aaron, and is it Yonet? The names go by so fast. Elizabeth Norine is up in the ring tonight from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Good evening to all the Norines there. Sita Mercy and Garcia husbands. Some fantastic names. Auntie Sandra Hanover, I see you there all the way in Diamond. Stanborn, good to see you. Laverne Cameron, Sandrine Baird, Irwin Don Cook, Cecile Ogle. Guys, before you go, ensure that you hit the emoji button. And most important, ensure you share the live stream. I'm seeing over 2,500 people still watching us, still in the ring, still tuned in. We want you guys to share that live stream. This is a message, as Sharma said, we want to get around the world. We got to show what the Jagabats doing. And we got to show the quality people on this side, according to Claudia Singh last night. The folks on the other side. On this side, we want to show the world what we have to offer. Quality people like Sharma Solomon, a quality team. We have the, and I will say across the board, all of the folks running there in this 21st Biannual Delegates Congress of the PNCR. Show the world what we have to offer. Not these jagabats. They don't know the hand from the foot. Who know nothing about management. And is on display clearly every day. It's a set of crook thieves and scamps. The wicked, stink, and dirty. Leon English, we know that you know that as well. Myrna Monroe and Cheryl Ben. Gloria Chester. How are you doing, Gloria? From Diamond as well. Good to see you, Gloria. Manners and respect, Amanda Daniels. Good to see you, Janet Edwards. All of you fantastic folks. Remember to partner with us. Guys, we can't do this without you. And we are still growing from strength to strength here. I tell you guys, if you all think you all see some, you all see that yet we coming big and bad. We coming big and bad. This year, we tell you, we take off the gloves. We have taken off the gloves, folks. And we got to go from strength to strength. And we told you guys, this program is powered by Ringsiders. It is powered by Ringsiders. Nobody can tell me what for talk here. Nobody can muzzle me here. You understand me? A mouth is always muzzled. The late great poet Martin Carter said, a mouth is always muzzled by the food it eats to live. They can't muzzle me here because we are powered by you. So guys, remember to come on board and to partner with us for as little as $5 US per month. That's 1,000 Ghana dollars. 10, 15, 20 US dollars, and help us to continue doing what we do here in the ring, guys. It's our privilege being on here with you. Volmay Wilson, Daniel Prasad. Good to see you, Daniel, and the whole family. Good to see you, I should say, Auntie Margaret, Daniel's grandmother. Good to see you, Ariel. Good to see all of you guys in the ring this evening. I see Joylyn Cook is here as well. I see, is it Edwina? You must get some simple name. Estrado, Edwina Estrado. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I see also Kim Walker. Kim, how are you doing, man? Good to see you, Kim. Guys, hit that emoji button for us, and we want you guys to share the live stream. How else we can get this information out there? Like we vex some people when we say share the live stream. We vex y'all when we ask for money. We vex y'all when we ask to share the live stream. We vex them when we ask for y'all to hit that emoji. Who vex? So share the live stream, guys. Those of you who are going to come back and watch us later on, do the very, very same. It is good to see Ingrid King here, Royston Melville, Denise Williams, Shellon Joseph. Fantastic fantastic, beautiful people. Good to see you all here. We're going to be back tomorrow evening with our final program for the week. And we hope that you guys join us. And those folks who didn't join us with this evening, you guys who have been here with us, you're going to tell them that we come back. I hope we didn't have too many issues this evening, but it's great to see each and every one of you. Letta, how are you doing? Letta Capin and Denise Samuels. Good to see you there, Denise. Donna Barry, Ovita Blackman, all of you sweet folks. Alison Glasgow, Lennox Bullers. Good to see you, Lennox. All you great people. Yonette Hamer Grant. Good to see you as well, guys. Thanks for joining us in the ring. And that's our program this evening. As you guys go, remember to social distance, sanitize, wear your mask, and practice all the COVID-19 protocols that are in place for your health and your safety, that of your friends, family, and loved ones. And remember, guys, partner with us. We cannot do this without you. Thanks for joining us. That's our program for this evening. See you guys tomorrow night. Stay safe.